All right, guys, we're back with round 4 Edison Format, Epic Cards and Games in Hurst, Texas. We got David Provonsil on the left playing Hybrid Blackwings versus Javi on the right playing GBs. So both these guys are X1. This was a 20-man local, 4 rounds of Swiss, cut the top 8. So winner is guaranteed a spot in top cut. Loser can still make it in depending on tiebreakers. Looks like Provonsil went first, set a back row and passes, and now Javi summons a quest. These two are regulars on the channel. They both got Provonsil's got 3 wins, while Javi's got 4. Javi's won all four of his wins have come with GBs, while David won with gadgets. He won with 3 different decks. He won with gadgets, Vayu, and Machina Turbo. So he's trying to get a win with a 4th different deck. Anyways, here Javi Bestiari's the jar, so it looks like David's on the Jar of Greed train. Me personally, I prefer Upstart, but Jar I feel is good early game. Like first turn, second turn, it's really good. But like mid to late game, I'd rather have Upstart. All right, so 64, 8,000. Javi has 1 back row. So traditionally, this is one of Javi's worst matchups. I think that's one of the decks that keeps GBs in check is Blackwing, just because their monsters are just bigger. Sirocco, Shura. Anyway, Javi War Chariots David's Greffer. And he special summons another Greffer and then drops Dark Armed. So here, he activates Vayu's effect. And Javi chains Crow to the Vayu. Still, this is a... Oh, he's got double Icarus. Oh, wow. That Crow... We'll see if that Crow would have saved Javi. Because he's on... He has 2 Icarus. Now, I've also tried Hybrid Blackwing myself. And I think I've always felt the deck is just a little inconsistent, the hybrid deck. Now, that Crow saved Javi here because had he not had that Crow, David's Icarus would have been live. So, and Javi just drew his 1 random Crow. I know he's only main decks 1. So here pops the Dark Arm and the Icarus and attacks over. But I mean, even just a Laquari would have saved them. I've been put in the same spot that David's in when I played against GBs. Like, I'll have a big monster and Greffer, and they'll just summon Laquari and attack over my Greffer and then pop my other monster. But anyway, like I said about Hybrid Blackwings, what I've noticed because I played this deck like the previous tournament, but I didn't film myself because I lost in top 8. But I feel like Icarus is not as good in that deck, and neither is Blizzard and Whirlwind. That's why I think the hybrid deck's a little more consistent. Sorry, not the hybrid, the pure Blackwing deck. Like you can see here, Blizzard was dead. His Blizzard was not live. That's why I only played 1 Blizzard in my hybrid version and 2 Icarus. So I wonder how many Icarus David's on. I know he's on 2 Blizzard because this is actually the second time I've watched this duel because I made an error the first time. I don't know how many Icarus he's on, but I do know he's on 2 Blizzard. Here comes Allure. It's not blind because he would have... Yeah, see, there's the 2 Blizzards. So we know he's on 2 Blizzard, but we don't know how many Icarus. Here comes Black Whirlwind Shura. Trigger Whirlwind. And what will he search? Does he have a 3rd Blizzard? But Blizzard's dead, so he can get Gale. He can get Kalut. He can get... I wonder how many Bora he's on. So when I play hybrid, I only play 1 Bora. But yes, I prefer pure. If you made me choose one of these 2 decks, I would play the pure version. Here, David flips Trap Dust Shoot. Javi has MST, so Javi's hand is Gore's Book, Chariot, D-Prison. So he sends back the Gore. So Javi's hand's not that good. Remember, Book, Chariot, D-Prison, MST. So he's going to set 2. Probably, he definitely set the MST. He knows he's got Bora. I'm guessing he set MST, D-Prison. So David summons Bora. And... So we don't know the card Javi set. So I think Javi let it go through because if he draws a GB monster, he's just going to book the Bora, attack, Bestiari popped the whirlwind. So he's saving the MST in case if David drew a back row. That's my guess. And here, David knows he has D prison, so he's probably not going to attack him. I mean, he knows you have D prison because he trapped Dust Shoot him. So David is like, nope, I'm going to let you deal with my monster, waste your Book of Moon, and you have to drop deck a GB. So yeah, exactly what I thought happened. Now, David has Kalut, so Javi has a lot of choices. He can ready Ari his Bora, he can a quest, or he can bestie pop the Black Whirlwind if he wants to. He has MST for it, but I guess you can just MST the Whirlwind, doesn't really matter. You have D Prison, you have War Chariot. David has to rip the Heavy Storm, basically, if Javi doesn't have Solemn. So here comes Sirocco. MST's the Whirlwind. So we know the other back row is D Prison. We know where it's at. It should be the one, not the one underneath the quest, the other one. Should be the D Prison. And Javi summons Laquari. Does he have Test Tiger, Book of Moon? Yep, he has Tigers. So Tiger, he targets a quest. So what does he go for? Murmillo? Yeah, probably Murmillo. He's going to hit him for 26. Yeah, this is when GBs get rolling and it's hard to beat this deck. When they get rolling like this. So 26 and tags both out. Does he have a target for a quest? I think he's going to quest him again. Yep, Laquari, tag out. For Darius, bring back a quest. He's going to Herc. Oh, he is going to Herc him. Yep, Herc. So he still has the... Javi still has the War Chariot in his hand. So I think he has double Chariot. Yeah, I think his hand is double Chariot. So if David draws Heavy Storm, okay. So here he summons Sirocco. He could have Solemn as well. It could be Solemn, D Prison, and Chariot in his hand. Didn't we know he searched Kalut? Yes, he searched Kalut when he summoned Bora. Yes, so we know he's got Kalut. David knows he has D Prison, so what do? Do you just wait for him to attack you? I think David has to pass. You know there's a D Prison back there. You know exactly where it's at. Ooh, so that's the card he drew. He drew Gale. So you can half the... Or should you pump first? Maybe you pump first? If you pump, he Chariots, then you can half the Herc. This is an interesting scenario. So pump. Oh, so he chooses the Gale. I'm trying to think what's the right move here. So he does have... Okay, so he has another Chariot in his hand. Now he knows it's D Prison, and now Javi immediately... He right away sets his Chariot again. So now David knows he has... Yeah, David knows both his back rows. I'm thinking, should he have pumped there first instead? So here he summons Shura. No, you pump. No, you should have pumped. Damage Kalut, and now he takes 12 and David scoops. Yeah, I think he should have pumped. Maybe he should have pumped. I think maybe he forgot Javi had a Chariot. Yeah, because he never said it. That Chariot was there from turn 1. I think David was still losing. Let's say he pumps. He still gets D Prison, but he could have stalled the game out a bit longer. Like, pump, Javi Chariots, and then just pass. And then Javi's going to have to eventually draw into something, and you have the Kalut. Anyway, double upstart from Javi. So Javi takes game 1. Will David pull off the backdoor 2-0? Javi respites. So I've seen Javi do this play a lot. Again, this is why I prefer upstart to jar and yada. Because you can do this first turn instead of having to set the jar and waiting a turn, you can like get your options quicker. I'm sorry, guys. I rant about this. I hate this jar bandwagon. I just think it's crazy. I think Upstart is way better. Anyway, here comes Smash. He's smashing grounds Ashura. 10,000 to 8,000. I think Javi thought about summoning Laquari. Summon Hippo or Hoplamus. Why did they call it Hoplamus, but it's a rhinoceros? It shouldn't be called Gladiator Beasts Rhinoceros or something? That's why someone told me, why do I call it the Hippo? I was like, I don't know. I never really looked at the card. Anyway, so Javi's probably reading a bottomless, so he's kind of like, I'd rather just respite. But he has the bestiary in his hand anyway, so yeah, put those two back. So you got basically a +1 right there. And you're drawing 3 new cards. That was crazy. So Javi double upstart him and double respited him this game on his first turn. And now Javi's going to set 3 cards to his back rows. And pass. So David with the Blind Dust hits the middle one, which is Book of Moon. An Icarus would be really good for David if he set like Dust Icarus turn 1, which is risky. I probably wouldn't, but I've seen people do it. I'm just scared of getting blown out by heavy turn 1. But sometimes you get rewarded for doing plays like that. Okay, so he summons Sirocco. Let's see, what will Javi do? Attack, no D-Prison, no bottomless from Javi. So what do we think Javi's back rows are? Probably a War Chariot for sure. And who knows what else. Definitely a War Chariot back there. That's my guess. 1 War Chariot and maybe Sala, maybe Starlight Road if he sided it in. My Body, stuff like that. Now, traditionally, this is one of Javi's worst matchups, but apparently he at the Ultimate Time Wizard in Austin, he did pretty well against Blackwings. Okay, so he dusts. So I'm guessing the other back row is a War Chariot. So David did do the Icarus play. Okay. So he chose not to chain the Icarus, and what would have been the difference here? Actually, he would have gotten Sekitoured if he had chained the Icarus. The Icarus, yes. He would have gotten Sekitoured. Javi wouldn't have that back row, so maybe it would have been worse had he chained Icarus to that Dust Tornado. Because then Javi would have Sekitoured him, gotten a quest. So it kind of would have been the same thing. He probably would have gotten a quest. Instead, now he just has a 2100 Laquari. But he does have a back row, which I'm reading as War Chariot. That's my guess. Or Solemn. It's either War Chariot or Solemn or like a Starlight Road, something like that. Okay, David sets 1. Prisma. Okay, yeah. Now I'm like convinced it's Solemn. Because Javi is being really aggressive. He's not afraid of Torrential. He's not afraid of Bottomless. So I'm guessing he has Solemn. So he pops. David's dead. Trap does shoot. That's a card I think David should have sided out. Like, yeah, I get it. You're going first, but nah. I personally would have sided that card out. I only keep it in against. Honestly, I've been thinking about cutting the card. I've done well at some tournaments without that card in my main deck. Like, I get it. It can be a blowout. If you open it in some scenarios, it's gonna win you games. But I've been drawing it dead a lot as well. But especially game 2 and 3, there's like some decks I would side out against, and GBs is definitely one deck I would side out. Does shoot. I would side out against Blackwings. Like, the only decks I would probably keep it in against would be like Frogs, because they always have cards in their hand. Light Sworn, a Dragon Turbo. But against heavy back row decks like Blackwings and GBs and What's another deck? Even Value, I'd probably side it out. Yeah, it can be a blowout if you open it, but you're just watching here while Dushu can be just dead mid to late game. All right, so now David's at 900. Will Javi summon Herculinos? Unfortunately, he couldn't get him under brain control range. But if you're gonna Herc, it doesn't. I mean, but then you wouldn't have to negate the brain control. So Javi's debating on Ready Ariing him. So he does Ready Ari the Shura. So now Blizzard is not a threat. And a quest, grab back a quest or Respite. So he chooses Respite. And he's probably going to make Herc. So Herc. So again, I'm like almost positive Javi has Solemn. You kind of tell when your opponent has Solemn because they're just very aggressive, very confident with their moves. That's what I've noticed. Like when I play against Los or Javi or other people, when they have Solemn, I can always tell like, oh, this guy has Solemn. He doesn't give a you know what about my background. And Provonsil can see. So yeah, Javi had the Solemn. So congrats to Javi moving on to top 8. What funny story is David lost and then he left. But actually 3 X2s made top 8 and David was the highest one. He was 6th. But since he left, someone else took his spot. So who knows? Maybe he would have won the tournament had he stayed. We'll never know. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that match. And we'll be back soon for the top cut. Bye, guys.